as the All-Army Color Guard from the Military District of Washington, D.C. presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as the senior pastor of the Greater Friendship Baptist Church of Daytona Beach, Reverend Dr. L. Ronald Durham, offers today's invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, we pray that you bless each driver with your protection. Guide them and direct their paths around each turn of the track. Set your angels before them, protect those who race and those in the pit, and allow each one to finish unharmed. As we look at the red, white, and blue of the flag that waves, protect our sons and daughters fighting to keep our freedom around the world and keep America strong. We praise you and thank you. In the majestic name of our Lord Jesus, amen and Godspeed.
To perform our national anthem, please welcome multiple platinum and Grammy award-winning country music superstar, Republic Nashville recording artist, Martina McBride.
Oh, so can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Greenaway Motorsports. I'm Rick Greenaway. Along in the booth with me tonight, special guest who's going to be with me for the rest of the K&N series, as long as the schedule allows him to. Steve Baker. Steve was the first champion ever for Racing for a Cause in the late model season. Good evening, Steve. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to be up in the booth with you, and pumped to call this race tonight at Pocono.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a great race here tonight at Pocono. These K&N cars. We were here last season, and it was a great race. So I do not expect this not to be a good race.
Yep, a lot of fun last season in this car. Was fortunate enough to come home with the win last season here. And, I mean, this track produces a lot of good side-by-side action, and allows for a lot of strategy calls since it's so big, and you actually don't have to go a lap down to pit under green. Allows for some calls. You might see some different strategies by some guys, and anything really could unfold.
That it could. And the other thing I like about this is just, you know, they call it the tricky triangle, how it's designed by like 3 different tracks. And just a lot of teams, they actually race this like a road course, so they plan their fuel strategy like a road course, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can save a ton of fuel here. You can attack if you want to go fast right off the get-go and try for the short runs, or you can definitely save the fuel and go longer. Like you said, every turn is different, so it allows for differing styles on each corner of the track. Somebody might have an advantage in one section and disadvantage in the next. So a lot of fast guys here tonight. A lot of fast times up on the board here in practice already. So it's going to be interesting to see who can come away and get out front early.
That it will. And we're going to take a minute, quick ad, and then we'll be right back. All right, folks. So we have 2.5 minutes left in practice, and then we'll be going to qualifying. Currently, right now, we have Ryan Nolan as your fastest with a lap of a 59. Fastest lap of a 54.672. Fluffy in second with a 54.787, and Mike. Oh, that's wrong. My thing just all screwed up. Let's fix this.
Yeah, I think it's Troy Radford in second with a 54.048.
Yep. And
And
Ryan
Gary
Nolan.
West with a 54.293.
Yeah, and Ryan Nolan with a 53.845 as the fastest.
Yeah, it's definitely flying around this track. That's a very solid lap. He's got the next fastest covered by 2/10. So through practice, he's looking like the fast car to beat.
That he is. But I mean, the one thing I do have learned on this track is the draft can be your friend, especially coming down that front stretch. And also, we'll see 4, maybe even 5 wide coming down that front stretch. So that's going to be a interesting situation to see how cars can handle that.
Yeah, definitely. Restarts here, you can go super wide. The draft come in effect down the Long Pond straightaway, as well as the front stretch is the longest stretch in NASCAR. So definitely we'll see that play a part. You've got to get off turn 3 really well to do good here. And I'm taking a look back at the speeds from the Season 1 race here, and these guys are flying. The fastest lap in the race last season was a 54.4, so we've already got that covered all the way back to 6th place here in practice. So
Wow.
these guys putting down some fast times, so the track's definitely fast this time around. Should make for an interesting race.
Just to see, it's I mean, the temperature probably helps too. I mean, we're looking at 78 degrees. The wind speed's at 11 miles an hour, so I mean, they're probably getting some wind help. And then track temp of 103.66, so it is a little hot. But that cool air though is allowing for the cooler air into the motor, so it's probably giving a little bit more horsepower.
Yeah, definitely they're pushing these cars as fast as they can around here. The checker flag flies around for practice, so these guys are going to get ready to throw down some qualifying laps. And we'll see the starting grid form up here as they come around. The lap times are going to be pretty long, as this is one of the longer tracks we run, so see who can throw down the pole lap tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like they got a 10-minute qualifying session. I'm thinking it's probably just so that they can give them the driver's meeting and everything like that. So we'll see if that shortens up. As of right now, they got a 10-minute clock.
It looks like we're going to have 17 cars in the field tonight. So a good amount of cars out there. This track usually produces some good green flag runs since it is so big and has such a wide front stretch. So usually everybody can get it singled out pretty quickly, and hope to see some good green flag racing throughout the night.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too. I love this track. It's personally one of my favorite tracks to watch. I don't know why. I've always enjoyed Pocono. I'm actually hoping to maybe shoot out there for one of next year's races. That's how much I really do like this track.
I'll pull up point standings here, and we can take a look at what this could mean for some of the drivers. As we're going in to this race, since we do go by the old points standings that used to be used in the 1997 series, it's calculated a little differently than it is today. No chase, no 1 point per position, going by the old school points rules. And taking a look at it, this is going to be the 5th race of the season. And going into that,
We got Dustin Germain.
yeah, we've got
Actually,
Dustin German in first.
yes.
He's got 1 win, 2 top 5s, He's got 646 points. He leads Chris Mefford, and then Ryan Nolan. That's your top three in points going into Pocono.
And I mean, the gap between first and second's only 8 points, and then 35 points separates Ryan Nolan from lead. And then you got Jerry West, Dylan Blankenship.
Yeah, exactly. But like we said, we do go by the old points rule. So, I mean, you can gain a 15-point gap on second place if you are to win the race. It's a big bonus. And there's a little bit more space between the positions points-wise. So, an 8-point lead for points is not safe by any standard with this points rules package.
Not at all. It's basically a dead heat between these two because, I mean, Dustin finishes, say 10th, and Chris Mefford comes home with a solid, second. That Chris is now in first, and Dustin's in second. So I mean, this point system is very crazy, but it's fun.
Exactly. So if you win the race here, you're going to come away with 185 race points. You'll also get 5 points bonus for leading the lap, 5 points extra bonus for leading the most laps. So you could walk away with 195 total points if you were to win the race. And that's definitely a big gap that it can help you in the point standings moving forward if you're consistent.
Exactly. And I'm just looking at, I mean, last week after Joshua Spalding won, he had a 10-point bump, 10 position bump. He was in 17th. He moved up to 7th. Troy Radford had a solid week last week. He went from 15th to 9th. So I mean, you can jump huge points here. I mean, I don't see Josh now that he's in the top 10. This top 10 is a pretty solid top 10 if you run down the list of drivers here. So I mean, it's definitely, these guys are all going to be contending for that win. This top 10, any one of them can win. So it's definitely going to be an interesting battle.
Yeah, like you said, I think there's a lot of fast cars in the field tonight. We're actually seeing slower times in qualifying now than we did in practice. So we may see as the track rubbers up a little more and more that the times slow down a bit. So keep an eye on that as the race goes on.
And I mean, speaking of Joshua Spalding, I mean, he's on the pole with Ryan Nolan in second, Michael Thwaites in third, fourth, and Justin Napier sitting in fifth.
Yeah, and Troy Radford actually just put down a blistering time, 53.7. So that shoots him up to the first position by 4/10. So we've still got a few guys left out there to put down a lap, but see if that can hold on for Radford to bring home the pole.
I know he was looking forward to this race. He was actually putting in a lot of work at this track. I know he rented this track out quite a bit this week, getting ready for today's race. So he's trying to make a run towards the top of the points chart for this series tonight.
Yep. So we've got confirmation from Chris Mefford that he scraped the wall a bit in qualifying, so no qualifying time is going to be recorded for him. That's going to put him towards the rear of the field. Not where you want to start, but this track is produces some good passing zones, so he's going to have a chance to work his way up through the field through these 60 laps.
That he is. And just looking to see Troy Radford right now sitting on the pole with Josh Spalding, Ryan Nolan, Michael Thwaites, Justin Napier, Dustin German, Dylan Blankenship, Andy Lambert with a solid 8th place qualifying right now, Peyton Johnson and Jason Fluffy Garrett, your top 10.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, with Josh Spalding winning that race last week at Indianapolis, that shot him up 10 positions in point standings. He's only run 3 of the 4 races so far, but he's still in 7th in points. If he can get another win tonight, that'll help push him higher and higher on the leaderboards. But he's going to have a tough crowd around him to do that.
That he will. I mean, just looking at the top 3 right there, I mean, they're some of the best drivers we have in the league, and they know how to get around this track, and they'll all be fighting out for that lead spot, especially right off the start. I think you're going to see Josh right there with Troy off the start, and Nolan's going to be right behind Troy pushing him, if not trying to cut out and making it 3 wide right off the start.
We've got just a couple more minutes left here in qualifying, then we'll get the cars gridded up and under pace laps to get ready to take this thing green here at Pocono.
Yeah, we got 2.5 minutes left. And still, I believe everybody has taken time, so they might be having their drivers meeting right now. Yeah, it looks like everybody has taken time. Everybody but Chad Meadows. I don't know if something happened to him. But I don't have... We know Chris hit the wall. Chad Meadows in the 3 hasn't done anything, so he might have hit the wall also.
I think they're actually going to go ahead and advance it up into gridding, so we'll get rolling here in a little bit.
All right, let's grid these boys up. Starting on the pole, the number 94 of Troy T. Roy Rafford. Starting second in the number 9, Joshua Spalding. Starting third in the 87, Ryan Nolan. Starting fourth in the 41, Michael Thwaite. Starting fifth, Justin Napier in the 54. Starting sixth, the number 28 of Dustin German. Starting seventh, and the number 15, Dylan Blankenship. Starting 8, Jerry West in the 86. Starting 9th in the number 70, Andy Lambert. Starting 10th, Peyton Johnson in the 85. And 11th, the 73 of Jason Fluffy Garrett. Starting 12th, Charles Winder in the 59. Starting 13th, and the number 66, the Flying Aussie of Phil Otto. Starting 14th, the number 60 of Justin J.P. Purnell. And bringing up 15th, the number 71 of Chris Legue. I'm not showing Chris Medford or Chad Meadows coming up on the grid, but I have them starting both. Chad starting 18th and Chris starting 19th.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're starting from the pits or if they're going to sit this one out. Don't have them on the grid yet, but race car countdown's over. I'm going to take off here in a minute and the field starts rolling.
I do have both of them on the grid. I think that was just one of those iRacing glitches where they couldn't make up their mind how they wanted it to work. So 17 cars getting ready to come at you here live at Pocono.
Troy Radford in that McDonald's car is going to take them to the green flag whenever the iRacing Mustang pulls onto pit road. Coming through turn 2 right now. Field tightens up as they're coming off of turn 3. Mustang pulls left, green flag is out. K&N race here at Pocono. 60 laps is underway, and Joshua Spalding pulls out very quickly under the start. Ryan Nolan pulls straight to the outside lane as they go into turn number 1.
As you continue to the race, looking towards the back of the pack, we got a battle going on with Jason Fluffy Garrett, Jerry West, all battling for a position up there.
So back up front in your top 3, it's Joshua Spalding, followed by Ryan Nolan, then Troy Radford, and he's followed by Michael Thwaites. They come through turn 3, then lap 1. Long race here, 60 laps at Pocono. It's a huge track. Laps here are almost a minute long each, so a lot of time in these 60 laps to get work done for the guys who had to start more towards the rear. Front 5 or so drivers, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drivers are singled out. Not much battling going on here up at the front. There's some Germans. Dives down low on somebody in the long pond straightaway.
Yeah, he dove in Dylan Blankenship. He's made some couple of nice moves already this race. He out-dragged Justin Napier going down the long pond straightaway, and then that move on Dylan Blankenship.
Speaking of another move, we got Michael Thwaites thinking about putting his car on the inside of Ryan Nolan. Doesn't quite get it done. Nolan holds on to 3rd place, but Troy Radford moves back up to 2nd spot, and he's on the bumper of number 9, Joshua Spalding.
And as we're talking about that, Dustin German made the pass on Michael Thwaites to take 4th.
New leader. As we go through turn number 1, it's Troy Radford back on point here at Pocono in the 94 McDonald's car. And he has pulled a huge gap just in that turn. Joshua Spalding. We've got a little bit of a clump of cars back in the 6th position between Dylan Blankenship, Michael Thwaites, Jason Fluffy Garrett. Battling it out for this 6th position.
Looks like we have some very good racing in the back there. They're all jockeying, moving back and forth, seeing who can get a lane. Ooh, Michael Thwaites looked like he got a little loose coming into turn 1 there. Looks like Fluffy
a little loose. Keeps it straight. Yeah, I think Fluffy Garrett there got all he could on that mistake, and he's back up on the bumper now of number 15, Dylan Blankenship. These 3 cars are nose to tail and a little bit of a pack going around this raceway. Jerry West in the 88-6 is joining the party, dropping down low on the 73.
Oh, Michael Thwaites I don't know what happened to him. He just got really slow right there. He's about to get freight trained by the 73 and the 86.
Yeah, loses 3 positions there, all the way back now behind Jerry West in 8th. Fluffy Garrett on the move along with Dylan Blankenship. They're picking up some spots here. Dylan up in the top 5 now. And Garrett's looking for more. Pulls on the inside of number 15. He's going to look to make the pass for the top 5 here. Going into turn 2. It's it done before turn 3. Jerry West is looking to come with him.
Just looking at Fluffy started 11th and is now up to 5th. So that's 6 spots.
We want to take a look back towards the leaders. Troy Radford's out to a heck of a lead, but Ryan Nolan's starting to reel in Joshua Spalding to take a look at the 2nd spot.
And Dustin German, he's right there, right behind Ryan Nolan. Nolan makes a mistake.
3rd, and 4th. Reeling it in a little bit here, second, third, and fourth position. Troy's out to a very comfortable lead here.
He's loving watching these guys going at it because they're going to be slowing down, and he can just run his line and get a bigger and bigger lead. He's a 1.1 second lead over second place Joshua Spalding right now.
Yeah, Spalding's pulled back out a little bit ahead of Nolan there, just for the time being. But they're really going to have to come up with some speed here if they're going to catch Radford.
Because, I mean, Troy just keeps on. Yeah, it's Spalding's starting to gain onto him. Now the lead's only, it's 1.1 still, but it's been decreasing. Spalding has been able to make runs at him.
Their last lap, Spalding reeled in a little bit, a couple tenths on Radford. Great race so far by all these guys in the RFC.
Yeah, it's been very clean race. Very clean race. Good side-by-side racing. It's been...
Now the question here is how long, if we stay under green, can you survive under a pit fuel run? We're on lap 8 now. Like I said, this is a very large track, so 2.5 miles or so. Fuel's not going to last very long here.
No, and I mean, it's 50% fuel. Oh, Fluffy swept the wall right there. I don't know if that didn't slow him down, though. He was able to get to the outside of Dylan Blankenship, but...
Yeah, it passes 3 wide there. Dylan Blankenship on the middle gets passed by Jerry West down low, and Fluffy Garrett on the outside, who did hit the wall. Jerry West now in the 5th position, I believe.
Yes, he's in the 5th, Fluffy's in the 6th, and Dylan's in 7th.
And Dylan's got more company with him in number 41, Michael Thwaites.
I'm thinking they're probably going to be able to go, I'm going to say 20 laps on at the most on a fuel run will be about 20 laps.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate to what it'll be. Gap up front getting a little bit smaller as Spalding and Nolan are reeling in the 94 just a little bit.
Just looking at the drivers towards the back, Chris Medford is sitting in 11th. He's made up a couple positions as he's looking to make a pass on Peyton Johnson.
Yeah, remember Chris Medford didn't put down a qualifying lap or didn't have one scored. He's been moving up through the field pretty quickly here in the first 10 laps.
He's gained about 7 positions. He started 18th and he's up to 11th, battling for 10th with Peyton.
Yeah, Peyton Johnson battling back on the outside though, coming off turn 3. He's going to hold on to the top 10 position in that number 85 car as they go down to turn 1.
As looking at the leader, Joshua Spalding's been able to close that gap up immensely. Now it's down to only 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Spalding and Nolan are both there. The question is, has Troy been saving his equipment or has he used it up? We'll see here in just a moment as Nolan takes a look on the inside of the number 9.
Ryan Nolan looking to the inside of the number 9 and Joshua Spalding. Question is he going to be able to make it stick coming down? He's not able to. It's Joshua Spalding. And with that allowed Troy to open up a 0.4 of a second lead.
Yeah, the more those guys battle side by side is the better and better for Troy Radford out front, especially if he's hurt his tires early on. It looks like the outside line through turn 3 is the preferred line. You get that huge slingshot off onto the straightaway, which carries momentum and keeps the position for most of the drivers. It's looked like that so far. Spalding a little loose there through the tunnel turn.
But just not enough for Ryan Nolan to capitalize on. He was able to gobble it up.
And I think if these guys want to catch Troy, they're going to have to run single file. Because as soon as they get back to battling, Troy just pulls back away.
Yeah, because Troy's already opened up a 5.5 second lead once they were battling just then. Ryan Nolan was looking low, tucked back in.
We're here on lap 12 of 60, 49 laps to go. Be coming up here in just a bit on a green flag pit stops here in about 8 or so laps, I'd imagine.
Ryan Nolan looking to the inside.
Troy's got in the wall there, entry a tunnel turn. As Nolan passes Spalding for second. Now we're going to see if the 87 can reel in the 94 of Troy Radford. It's been out front all the race so far, all 12 laps, except for the personal.
Right now we're looking at a 0.6 of a second gap between first and second, so we will see.
Things seem to have calmed down a little bit in the back of the pack. Everybody's tuned it out now, it looks like, and holding on to their position. So we watch the number 87 of Ryan Nolan reel in just a little bit, the number 94 of Troy Radford. We're coming to lap 14. We're still early on in this race, so we're not going to see anybody make too crazy of a move. I'd imagine later on in the race, it'll get a lot more dicey and a lot more side by side. A lot of guys are going to push it a little bit harder later in the race. And I think people just right now are feeling out what they've got on a fuel run, how the car's going to react under older tires and lighter weight from the fuel. They can game plan for late in the race.
I definitely agree with that. They want to know what the car can do. And the other thing they're going to want to know is how the new tires are going to react. You know, now that the car is kind of settled, might have some damage. So they're used to their car driving a certain way under the old tires. Now when they get the new tires, the car's probably going to handle it a lot different. You might see cars shuffle to the back until their tires get worn in a little bit because the car, now that it has a little damage, doesn't handle so well on new tires.
Yeah, exactly. Aero here is a huge deal, especially with the carrying in. Not only down the front straightaway, but the speed you carry in through the first corner. Got to be able to make that car turn. If you're lacking in aero, it's definitely going to push up to the wall, and you're going to lose speed throughout the rest of the racetrack. As Ryan Nolan takes over the lead from Troy Radford here on lap 15.
And he starts pulling away from Troy.
Yeah, Brian has definitely, looks like he's been saving his equipment. Running very fast times right now. But Troy's battling back. He's not giving up that easy. He's right on the bumper of the 87.
Definitely interesting to see what clean air does for Ryan and not so clean air does for Troy. See if it changes how the car handles.
Yeah, definitely being out front here is a gift, having all that air on your front nose, especially going through these corners. See what happens to the 94 now. He's got a little bit of dirty air from the 87 in front of him. Seems to be falling down just a little bit. Not sure if that's aero related or just, you know, worn tires like we've said.
That, and I wonder if he might be, you know, he knows he has a fast car. Could he be trying to conserve some fuel? Because this could be a fuel mileage race. So if he can go, you know, say 24, 25 laps, it could help him in the long run.
Exactly. Like we said earlier, it's if this stays green, you can save a lot of fuel here through these corners with how much speed you're carrying. You can coast quite a bit into and out of, but these guys could be game planning for 40 laps down the road. You don't know. We know, a certain few of these cars have the speed to win it. You saw the top 4 or 5 together there in the front on new tires. So we'll see how this plays out. You got some guys, I'm sure, back in the pack making some strategy calls of trying to stretch it here to make up some positions. So I'm sure there's a lot of game plans out there throughout the field to see who can come away with the win here if this thing stays green the whole time.
Definitely. I'd be kind of intrigued to see how many people during practice were doing long runs to see how long they can go, going full out on a tank, then maybe not so full out, but getting that extra 2 or 3 laps. Because if you're getting say a max 20 laps, that's 4 pit stops. If you can gain 3 laps, you're looking at maybe only doing 3 pit stops in this race. So that could be the difference between a first or a 15th place finish.
Exactly, especially a track like this where you're not going to go a lap down per se if you're running towards the front under green flag pit stops. Troy's pulling back up on the 87 a little bit. We're getting to lap 19, so we're getting close to those green flag stops if it stays green. But again, you could have a late caution that throws a wrench in the plan. It's happened before, so you never really know. These guys are just going off of what information they've got so far to make the call that's best for their race car.
And as we've been following the leaders, I really haven't seen or heard anybody diving into the pits yet. I was wondering if maybe some people might try to
I actually think we might have the 44 on pit road, it looks like. Yeah, Mefford's taking left side tires right now, so he's wrapping up his pit stop. He's pulling off his box. So he's the first car, it looks like, to take tires and fuel. As the leaders come to lap 20, and they're coming in. It's going to be the 87, the 94. Joshua Spalding looked like stayed out. The 28, 86, and 15 all come to pit road. Along with Michael Thwaites in the 41, the 73, and the number 3. Number 3 spins it,
All right, man.
and that's the caution flag. Now that's interesting because Chris Mefford has already pitted, didn't go a lap down. So I think he might actually be...
He might become the leader with this.
Possibly, if he can beat Nolan out, which I don't know that he's going to do. I think actually Joshua Spalding, he didn't pit in that stop, so he's going to be the leader.
But he might come in the pit during this yellow.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he didn't pit.
Well, what a shakeup.
Dustin German actually didn't pit. He just drove through pit road. I don't understand why he did that. He just continued on and is going to pit now, so he's going to lose the positions that he probably could have gained right there.
Yeah, I think he was already committed before the yellow flew, so he could have pitted there penalty-free, I believe, but we'll see how this shakes out. I'm not sure who's going to come out with the lead. Depending on how iRacing will read this with the yellow flag and everyone going towards pit road, and who had their stops completed, it could shake up the field quite a bit. And like I said, that's it. You have a full fuel run, full tire run, and as these guys get ready to take green flag stops, we got a caution. Going to shake up the race just a little bit. That's the first caution of the night.
It is, and it was a pit. It was a pit. It was an entrance to pit road issue. It wasn't even like a racing issue.
That's right. So we've got, yeah, like you said, Dustin German's pitting now. Peyton Johnson in the pits. Mefford is back in the pits, it looks like. I guess he wants to square away on fuel and tires.
Yeah,
That
he
or
might.
he had a penalty, I'm not sure.
I don't know either. Yeah. You know what? While we have this caution going out, we could talk to Chris Medford and find out what was going on there, why he didn't stay out. Let's bring him in.
Yeah, let's get a word.
User was moved to your channel.
Chris, Stephen, Rick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. Barely here. How's it going?
What's going on, buddy? Well, we saw that you pitted, and then the caution came out. Then you just came back in. Are you making sure you topped off, or what's going on with
Well,
that?
it just said that pit road was open, and now it's saying it was closed, so I got to jump at the end. So, I don't know. Everybody was checking up at turn 3, like the pace cars in turn 3. As soon as I hit pit road, it said that Spalding was like 17 seconds behind me. So I'm not sure what's all going on.
I see. So you had to come back in and take him anyway, so it didn't really matter?
Yeah, I was just sitting there riding the first half of the race anyways. I just, taking what was given. I think I got a strong car. I wasn't really pushing it all that first run because I figured it'd be a couple cautions. But, so I think I got something right now for these guys. I'm not sure what the leaders are doing right now, but, I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll put you back down there and get ready for this restart. Good luck the rest of the way.
I don't think it, sir.
User was moved out of your channel.
So a little bit of a hiccup there, it looks like, for my racing. Going to shake up the field. And, yeah, like Chris said, he's got a strong car. Started in the back because of qualifying, but was making his way up through the field. I think if it stays green, it's going to be tough if you're starting in the back to make your way all the way up front. But if he can get another caution to help him out after he gains some positions, he might be able to battle up front with the leaders.
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's a time thing. I think he can, he was up to, I think at one point I saw him up to 7th place. So if he if he could continue with that, then I don't see him having an issue with getting up to the front at all.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely been able to make passes. He's definitely got speed in the car. So, like you said, just going to be a time thing. It's going to have time to come through the field and not have the leaders stretch it out as much as they did that first run. But we still got a lot of time left. Only lap 23 now of 60, so not even halfway done. Plenty of room for these guys still to make some moves. Both strategy and under green flag conditions. So.
And plenty of time for people to make mistakes, too. And,
exactly. Luckily, through that first caution, we didn't have anybody wreck out, so no damage, it looks like, to any cars. Too much. Let me go back and check the number 3 car.
No, and just looking, it looks like the 60 car is... Something happened to the 60 car and the 70 car. So JP is not on the track, and neither is Andy Lambert. And I have Chris Alegu in the pits. Also, Peyton Johnson sitting in the pits. So something happened in the back of the field that we didn't see, that these cars ended up out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, I know Chris said that a lot of guys were checking up due to the pace car. So it could be an issue of those guys just going in to make sure any damage they got from that, if they tapped anybody, was taken care of. And we've got some guys coming into pit again as they double up. So you've got Troy coming in pit.
I think he's playing a little fuel strategy right here. 25.
I think you're right. It's going to give him a lot of, I mean, like we said, this is a 2.5 mile racetrack. So what he can get here is a lot of distance. He can go longer than everybody else who stayed out on the track.
Exactly it. I mean, even if he's picking up, say, an extra gallon, of fuel. That could give him an extra 2 laps. So if you're talking 20 laps, now he can go say 20 laps from the restart. You're putting him to lap 44, where some of these other guys they won't be able to pit. They'll be looking at lap 40 to pit. So I mean he's could be picking up 4 laps just with this one move right here.
Yep, exactly. The thing is it gonna, in the long run, with how short these stints are and how large this track is it enough to make a difference on the long run? And something we didn't get to see after the green flag stops was how much is short pitting going to help? How much value do new tires have? Even if it's just a lap newer tires, how much does that help you here? We didn't really get to see that play out, so we'll line them back up, doubled up, and set everybody go with full fuel tanks and brand new fresh tires on the cars. Got Ryan Nolan in first. On the outside of him is going to be Joshua Spalding, then Jerry West, Michael Thwaites, Dylan Blankenship, and it looks like Justin Napier's made his way up in the top 6. The pace car is dropping off, and the green flag drops. Ryan Nolan gets us back under green.
Dustin Germain making a strong run up to 3rd. Is that Jerry West actually?
That's the 86, but we have a car hit the wall hard out of turn 1.
Is that Phil Otto? It looks
Kept
like
it straight. Michael Thwaites and Phil Otto both hit the wall coming off turn 1. Top 3 right now is the 87 of Brian Nolan, Joshua Spalding in the 9, and the 86 of Jerry West. And then we have a big bunch of cars behind them that they got stacked up coming off turn 1.
Yeah, looking back in the field, we got Fluffy leading the way. Dustin German, Justin Napier. Looking to go 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide. Thinks better of it. Very close there to contact. They go side by side through turn number 1, 3 rows deep.
We got Fluffy Garrett in 4th. Michael Thwaites looking to see if he can make a move on him.
Yeah, and we saw how quickly these cars got singled out and spread out, so you've really got to make your move early on while you can get as many cars as possible on these restarts. Not sure if Dustin German has any damage to his car. He was running top 3 earlier. Top 4, excuse me, earlier. He's back in the 6th position, it looks like now. They can move the inside of Michael Thwaites. We've got a car around. That's the 59 of Charles Widener. The yellow flies once again. Like he spun off the front nose of the 94 Troy Bradford there.
That it does. And that right there could be one of the biggest issues with what Troy did, was he gets, back there with the slower traffic and incidents like that, and now he's got damage possibly on the front of his nose, which can hurt him at this track.
Yeah, and I mean, he barely touches him, but it's enough to send him around, especially when you're coming off turn 1 like that. Pretty pretty high rate of speed here through one. And like we were saying, it's a product of these close battles on the restarts where you've got to take everything you can get. Trying to take a look and see if he has any damage. Looks like he does have a little bit of right front damage, but it doesn't appear to be from this incident, so it might have been from earlier on in the race. Somewhere, luckily, the 59 does not hit anyone else or the wall, so he should be okay. Back under caution here again.
Ryan Nolan's going to come in the pit.
Oh, pulls back out, but then everybody else dives into pit road behind him. Wow, that is a mix-up there. He goes and acts like he's going to pull in and darts back out. Troy stays out on track, but then you've got pretty much the rest of the field going in to pit. I think even though you've only run a few laps there, you've got to come in and pit. The way that these fuel stints run out, there's not many laps you can run on a fuel tank here, and I think you take every lap you can under yellow.
Exactly. I'm kind of shocked that he didn't come in the pit. I'm even kind of shocked Troy didn't come into pit, but he's going to gain the position to come back up front, but
yeah, definitely. Well, we remember Troy stayed out or pitted again right before we went green, so he did have a couple laps extra than everybody else, but he gets the track position. But Nolan there looked like he was going to go in and might not have seen everybody else coming in because everybody else turned down pretty late. Ryan turned back out because he thought everybody was going to stay out, and then once he had made that decision, everybody darts down pit road and sort of left him out to dry there.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering on, Troy's decision to stay out. Because, you're looking, he's gone 6 laps on a run. Everybody else has gone about 9. The differential, I just don't think is enough where if he probably would have came down with everybody else, he might have. Because now he's looking at half the run that everybody else is going to have. So unless we can get another caution with, say in another 7-8 laps, I think this could hurt him.
Yeah, exactly. He must have believed that the track position was worth having right now. Obviously, just being in that incident, might have thought, get back up front, get settled back out, and try and get back out in a little bit more clean air and see what he can do there and take his chances. Now, Ryan, he's on the longest run out of anybody now, but we did see him have the fastest long run speed there through the first run. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for him against these guys. He's going to have about 10 lap older tires and 10 lap less fuel than everybody else, except for Troy. Troy's on probably about 3 or 4 laps less than Ryan there.
Yeah, and actually, Justin just posted that he spun out, he repaired his car, and it actually still blew up. And Laura saying how Peyton said he had bumped somebody and started smoking, and they had to wait for it to be repaired. So I do think
Who'd you say? Who blew up?
JP blew up.
Oh, wow.
I guess he repaired his car and went back out, and it blew up on him.
Yeah, I do know that once you get a certain amount of damage on these cars, and the engine can go at any time if it's front end damage. So it's bad luck there for JP. Just caught an early contact.
Yeah, and I do think since they've done this the update on these cars, I have heard that they a little bit more sensitive than they used to be. So I could be part of the problem there. It's just I think they. Sounds like iRacing is trying to get these cars to kind of go to the true K&N sense, where they want to start seeing them on the shorter tracks, like the Thompsons, and or the biggest track being kind of like an Iowa type of a track.
Yeah, exactly. Now, do we see? I don't think we saw anybody this time come down pit road.
I did see one car.
We have the 41. Yeah, the 41 Michael Thwaites pulls down pit road.
So he's taking a little play out of. He's taking a little play out of the Troy Radford playbook.
Exactly. Now we are at lap 31. We're going to be coming to green on lap 32. It's going to be 29 laps to go. So we still have a full fuel run if it stays green at least. Or run and a half or so. If we stay green, I mean, he could stay out a little bit longer than everybody else and take a little bit less fuel. Maybe 2 tires if it runs out green to the end, but.
And look who's up to 3rd, 4th place. Chris Mefford. Actually, Chris Mefford's in 3rd place, so.
Mefford up to 3rd. We'll get to see what he's got in that car now that he's in the front. He's been sort of hanging around mid-pack all day after having to start in the back due to qualifying, just scraping the wall. He had a fast car in practice, so see what he can do here as we get ready to go green. Coming through turn 3. Pace car is going to pull off, and the green flag flies pretty quickly after it pulls off, so everyone tightening up a little bit. Car pulls off.
Green flag, green flag.
The green flag drops. Ryan Nolan gets us back underway. Pocono, Jason Garrett pulls outside.
Wow, 3 wide
going
down.
3 wide going down the front straightaway. Garrett. Ryan has to go really low to block the 44. Then high side to enter turn 1, and Garrett all the way at 2nd by the time they get to turn 1.
I saw that move last night in the Indy Series. He is a master of the restart. He gained so many positions on restarts. It's unbelievable just to watch him do a restart.
Yeah, incredible restart there by the 73. And the big loser there.
Oh, Medford goes around.
Wow.
Austin is out.
I'm going to have to take a look at what happened there. Looks like the 59 also was in it.
It looks like possibly Dustin German might have gotten into the back of Chris Mefford. Let's see if I can go back and see it again. Yep, Dustin German hit that rumble strip and bounced up and got into the inside of Chris Mefford.
Yeah, it looks like Mefford had a little bit higher entry into the tunnel turn there. German, like you said, was down a little bit lower. Hits that rumble strip and it just shoots him a little bit to the right, barely. Enough to spin out the 44. That's considerable damage. 86 does a good job there of checking up. 9 gets around on the outside with no damage. 59 makes contact with the 44, so heavy damage there to the 44 of Chris Mefford.
What was looking like it could turn into a promising night for Chris Mefford is turned into a trip to possibly the garage to get some damage fixed.
Yeah, both the 44 and the 28 are going to have to come and have their cars looked at. Could be pretty considerable repair time. Pretty bad aero damage to both those cars. Dustin German stays out, it looks like. The restarts, like we said, are very aggressive here. We saw the risk that Jason Garrett took on that restart, taking it 3 wide. Paid off for him. He made it all the way up to second. So just a case of sometimes it pays off for you and sometimes it does not. And after a long green flag run to start the race, we've had a few cautions back to back here. A little bit of the aggression coming out here on these restarts. 27 laps to go as we're under yellow.
As they say, cautions breed caution. So we will see what happens with the with this restart. And what this does, though, it helps Troy Radford because with that pit strategy he had, it allows him to stay out under these yellow flags, saving fuel as the laps tick down. Because everybody's still going to need to make one more pit stop. So it's once we get past lap 40 and see what people do for pit strategy from there is going to be the interesting thing. And if we can get a good green flag run going, come lap 42, 43, I think business is going to start picking up on pit row.
Yeah, definitely. Once you've got to the point in the race where you can run it out, we're going to see a lot of guys get their fuel as early as possible.
I think you'll start seeing guys come in. The earliest is probably going to be lap 40. And I think you might see guys try to extend it to lap 43, 44 to give them as fresh as tires as possible towards the end of the race so that they can maybe make a big move towards the end and know they have better tires.
Yeah, exactly. As it sits now, we're going to have to... I don't know that anybody can stretch it out unless they are saving a huge amount of fuel. We're still going to have, I think, about 4 or 5 laps over the limit to what you can go on a single run. See how many people go in late here under yellow.
I'm just wondering if anybody can actually save that amount of fuel, save 5 laps to maybe make that track down pit road.
With how big this track is, I don't believe that you can do it. We'll have to see how many laps are left to run once they get doubled up and are getting ready to take the green. I mean, I think you could maybe stretch it to 23, 24 possibly, but I think that's on the upper edge. I think you'd lose too much speed by the time you're doing that it's not going to matter too much. So you're going to have guys running full out who are just going to stop and take maybe 2 tires, maybe take just fuel at the end. The way it sits right now, granted, we don't have another caution. And Troy Radford is one of them to pull off, and so are a lot of the other cars in the back of the pack. They may be the ones that are looking to capitalize on strategy. Been kind of an up and down day for the 94. Led a lot of laps early. Has gotten back in the pack a little bit, back up front, and now he's pitting again. That's going to put him sort of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, we got Radford in, Thwaites in, Napier in, West is in.
Meadows, it looks like, is also in.
Yep.
As well as the 59 of Charles Widener. So a lot of cars pit here.
So as we're going right now, we have Ryan Nolan in the lead with Fluffy Garrett second, Josh Spalding third, Dustin German fourth, Dylan Blankenship fifth, Phil Otto sixth, Chad Meadows seventh, T-Roy Radford 8th, Michael Thwaites 9th, and Jerry West 10th. That's your top 10.
So they're going to have 24 to go here at the drop of the green flag. Remember the first stint they pitted on lap 20. So they would have to save a few laps here to make it the rest of the way for those guys who pitted. The guys who did not pit definitely cannot make it.
I'm just wondering if maybe Troy and these guys are thinking that we might get one more caution during this race, and that could get them enough to fuel to make it to the end.
Exactly. If there's one more yellow, they're good to go. Pace car is
Green
pulling
flag,
off.
green flag.
Green flag.
And we have guys going into the pits.
Interesting call there. Yeah, I saw him coming in off turn 3.
Troy, Justin Napier.
Not sure if they had penalties or what.
I don't know. Let's
But Garrett there with the lead, but Ryan Nolan firing back on the inside. Not going to get it done. Garrett to the lead to the tunnel turn, 2 by 2. Battling up front, very close. Jason Garrett, followed by Ryan Nolan, Joshua Spalding, and Dustin German. So the fourth leader of this race. To the point here of lap 38. 73 and 87 battling very hard right now.
The only thing I'm thinking, if they came in for fuel, that could be enough for them to make it all the way. They're looking at the possible reward of this. Because I know Troy, he monitors his fuel very carefully, so he might know that if he pitted then to get a full fuel load, that he can make it all the way. So that could have been his strategy, but I don't know.
Yeah, we've got these guys battling back and forth too. We've switched the lead about 3 times in the past lap and look to be a fourth here. 87 and 73 going back and forth for the lead, followed closely by the number 9, who's actually taking over the second spot. Ryan Nolan is on the lower line. The number 9 steps out down low on the 73. He's looking to the inside, followed by Dustin German in the 28. Getting very, very racy here up in the front. The aggression's starting to grow a little bit as we have 22 to go here at Pocono. Ryan Nolan falling all the way back to 4th now. Might fall back to 5th, and Jason Garrett spins out from the lead.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Jason Garrett there, solo spin, it looks like. Not sure if he got loose, tapped the wall or what. We'll check on replay. Yeah, it looks like he smacked the wall coming out for turn 1. And that's going to put a lot of damage onto that 73. After he was putting on quite the clinic. He might be done for the day. I think his engine might be up a little bit there.
He took a hard hit.
Jason Garrett running front and center in that number 73 machine was on point. Had battled back and forth there for the last 4 or so laps. We didn't really go that many laps there, and Roy Radford might be looking like a genius, as well as the couple other cars that pitted with him.
That they might.
They did not go a lap down. They're going to get to stay out.
And I'm thinking everybody else is going to be coming into pit.
Yeah, I would be thinking that as well. Ryan Nolan there dropping back to 4th. So right now on point is Joshua Spalding in the 9, but like you said, they're going to have to pit, it looks like. I'm not sure if Troy Radford or Justin Napier, I think, is actually in front of Troy, so he might take over the front spot. as everybody else comes to pit. You might have guys like Chad Meadows, Chris Mefford, Jerry West stay out as well. They've only got a few laps on their run. But you've got to think these top 4 have to come in. They've all got over 10 laps. Granted, a lot of caution laps, but so Troy comes back down again. He must have gotten a black flag or something on there. Chad Meadows stays out. So new leader. I believe this is the 5th different leader of the race. The number 3 car of Chad Meadows. And I believe he can make it the rest of the way, as he was one of the cars that pitted late under that last caution. So he's going to have to save quite a bit here. Still 20 to go. He's going to have to save. Probably going to go back green with about 18 or 17 to go. If he can stretch it, he can make it. The question is, can he stretch it enough while keeping up the speed from everybody else behind him, who's going to have fresh tires and be good to go from the end from here on out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if this plays out, because I know everybody who just pitted should be able to make it to the end without a problem.
Yeah, I believe we're good to go for everybody who just came down pit road. Got Chris Mefford, it looks like, in 2nd. Or he might be actually, sorry, he's in, check my scoring.
I have him on the lead lap.
On the lead lap?
Yeah, I'm showing him on the lead lap.
Well, then he might be in the 2nd spot.
Right
Does
now
have a little bit of damage.
Right now I have the number 3 of Chad Meadows in the lead, with Chris Mefford 2nd, Josh Spalding 3rd, Dylan Blankenship 4th, Ryan Nolan 5th.
And really, what a great battle that was off the last restart between Nolan and Garrett. Hate to see that from the 73. Had battled up to the front of the pack. Because Jason started 11th, qualified 11th. Had been a little aggressive on the restarts, but made them count. Had that huge restart where he restarted, I believe it was 6th or 7th, and got all the way up to 2nd. And, then took over the lead on the next restart. So what a race by him. Hate to see that happen, but
yeah, but unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast. You come out a little hot in the corner, got up into the wall, and the rest is history.
yeah, it's definitely very easy to lose the exit here, especially when you're battling so much in the top front and in the top of this field. You've got 5 or 6 cars that have been up front today, 5 or so cars that could win it, it seems, speed-wise. So when you're in a pack in the front group and you've got 3 or 4 cars bearing down on your back bumper, you've been battling back and forth for the past few laps, you've got to push with everything you've got, and sometimes it's just a step over that line. But man, he was showing great tonight and had really emerged as a late threat.
That he did. Just, I don't know, it just seems that that seems to happen to Fluffy a lot, though. He runs a line and he gets close to that wall, and sometimes it just bites him, Like Kyle Larson, he races up high, he races that high line. And sometimes
Yeah, exactly.
It just bites you.
So now we're doubled up. We're going to be coming to green with 17 laps to go. The number 3 of Chad Meadows is going to bring us to the point. On his outside is the 44 of Chris Mefford. Then back in third, Josh Spalding. Fourth is going to be Dylan Blankenship. Fifth, Ryan Nolan. And on his outside, Dustin German. We've got Jerry West in the seventh position. Then Justin Napier in the 8th. Troy Rafford in 9th. Phil Otto 10th. Michael Thwaites 11th. Peyton Johnson in 12th. And then you've got a handful of cars that are a couple laps down or out of the race.
And getting info from Troy Rafford, he did receive a black flag. I guess he, it sounds like he went into a closed pit row.
So that would explain the out of sequence pitting.
That.
Back on sequence now. So.
But he was able to pull other guys down with him and get penalty, and for them to share in his penalties. So that was pretty impressive.
Exactly. Field comes around turn 3. The pace car is going to pull off on the pit road, and Chad Meadows is going to get us rolling back under green as the pace car pulls left. Field's green back here in Pocono with 17 laps to go.
And somebody just tucked into the pits.
Chad Meadows drives wide into turn 1. That pushes 44 Chris Mefford up the hill. Dustin German's going to take advantage of it on the outside. Followed by Ryan Nolan. You've got Joshua Spalding there in third. He's on the bottom line. See how these cars shake out through the tunnel turn. Side by side, Dustin German and Joshua Spalding get it straightened out. Chad Meadows breaks out to a little bit of a lead, but remember he's on a little bit older tires than everybody else. Dustin German up to second. Third, fourth, and fifth battling back and forth. That's Joshua Spalding, the 87 of Ryan Nolan, and Dylan Blankenship, followed by Jerry West in sixth.
So it looks like Ryan Nolan's going to get the edge on Dylan Blankenship coming into turn 1. They're still neck and neck and coming in out of turn 1.
Yeah, extremely tight battle there for the third position, side by side for fourth from the 87 and 15 of Dylan Blankenship and Ryan Nolan. Ryan trying to fight his way back up to the front after leading a good portion of this race.
Another guy on the
hanging
move.
On out front.
And Troy Rafford's on the move. He's starting to catch up to the
Just as I
86 of
say
Jerry
that,
West.
we've got battle up front. Dustin German becomes the sixth leader of this race, followed by the number 9 of Joshua Spalding. They're still battling for that third and fourth position. We've got the 87 being pushed by the 86. Chad Meadows, is he falling off a little bit with a little bit older tires than everybody else as those tires start to heat up.
Oh, Spalding gets
number 9 gets a little loose, and he's
Oh.
gonna...
Oh, he saved it. What a save.
Incredible save, but it does slow up the 87, the number 9, and the number 3 considerably. They're going to lose a ton of positions on that. That gives Dustin German quite a lead over number 86 of Jerry West. And we've got 15 laps to go here in the Pocono 60 of the Racing for a Cause Pennsylvania 60 K&N Late Model Throwback Series. Or excuse me, K&N Throwback Series.
Yeah, you were right, K&N Throwback Series. You had it. And just like that, Troy Rafford is now up to fourth. Jerry West looking to the inside of Dustin German.
We had a single filed out first 20 or 30 laps of this race, but now the aggression has notched itself up quite a bit as the laps are winding down, and we're at 14 to go. These guys are getting a little bit restless, battling for every position.
As this top four is getting tight, as the 15 of Dylan Blankenship looks to the inside of Jerry West.
Yeah, he's looking on the inside, but like we've seen earlier in the race, that outside line of turn 3 gives you quite a slingshot off, and Troy Radford continues to close the gap on these top 3. He's right there with Dylan Blankenship.
Looking on the inside of Dylan. Nothing there, though. Thought he was going to try to slingshot by him, go low in the corner, but he stays up high. Maybe try to get a good slingshot out of the corner there, but...
Joshua Spalding has rebounded quite a little bit. I think he's back up to 5th position. Ryan Nolan had to slow down quite a bit to avoid from running over the number 9 as he was trying to save it. That shuffled him back in the pack quite a bit. The 86 on the inside as they exit turn 3. Is he going to be able to clear him? They're side by side coming down the front straightaway. Give that lap to number 86, Jerry West.
Troy's looking on the inside of Dylan Blankenship. And it looks like he's going to get the pass coming into turn 1.
We do have a pass for the lead. That's the number 86 of Jerry West, taking over the lead from number 28, the Abilene Machine of Dustin German. Yeah, Troy, like you said, up to 3rd. He's closing in on those front 2. The long of the front 2 are side by side. Troy's loving it. Pun intended to the McDonald's paint scheme. Back and forth, the 86 and 28 are battling. They've got quite a gap back onto 5th.
Troy's just sitting back there wondering which line to go with, or maybe even with the way these guys are battling, even though their race is super clean, could there be a little contact and he's able to slingshot past the both of them?
Yeah, you've got to be thinking, if you're Troy Radford, are you sitting there biding your time, seeing how aggressive these guys are going back and forth, or do you think you've got to make a move when you can, be a little bit risky, and go for a spot when you've got an opportunity to take it?
And he's looking to the inside right now.
Troy Radford down low on the number 86 coming into the tunnel turn. Looking to take over the 2nd position. Seems to have it. He clears the 86. Now he's going to try and reel in the 28 of Dustin German. Previous season's champion of the K&N Series. Remember, Dustin does have a little bit of damage on the right front of his car. So does the 94 of Troy, but doesn't seem to be as significant. I'm not sure that Troy's quite done with the 86.
The 86 wasn't able to get the momentum to make the pass coming out of the corner there.
Yeah, it seems like he's lost a little bit of that front grip there. So we've got 10 laps to go here in the Pocono, Pennsylvania 60.
It looks like Troy could be a little content right now with just maybe staying behind the 28, do a little drafting.
Yeah, Jerry has fallen back just a little bit. I'm not sure if he's worn those front tires out or not, but he's fallen back considerably behind the top 2, and then Dylan Blankenship there in 3rd. Joshua Spalding trying to reel in that front pack. Dustin German all the way to the bottom of the front straightaway, followed by the 94, trying to break that draft, like you said, down the front straightaway. Nine to go.
Great racing here up front.
Dustin's probably just thinking, I've just got to get to 4 laps to go mark or so to have this one in the bag in case a caution comes out or something.
Exactly. He knows it's not going to be easy having the 94 on his back bumper, because Troy's not going to let him get it for free.
He's definitely got to push it with the 94 there.
Looked like they were thinking about going 3 wide, but they decided better of it coming into the corner.
How hard there, though, did the 94 push it to get up to the front? Will he have the tires left by the time we get down to 2 and 3 to go? That's the question.
And
We
I
saw him
don't know,
fall off a little bit in that first long green flag run.
but I don't even know how much he really pushed it. I think he actually got lucky because of the 9 getting sideways like that. It got him up to the front, so he might not have had to push it that much.
Yeah, this is true. He's got a nose on the inside of the 28. Pulls back out behind, ducks in. We've got Dustin German followed by Troy Radford. Then Dylan Blankenship, Jerry West, Joshua Spalding, and then Ryan Nolan's made his way back up front. Joshua Spalding and Ryan Nolan a little bit
As
further
we got a
behind,
battle
but
for the lead going on right now. Troy's going to make a pass on
Troy.
the outside.
Power move there on the outside of turn 3 as they thunder down the front straightaway. Dustin might lose another spot here to Dylan Blankenship if he's not careful. Josh just seemed to rejoin the front pack. Ryan Nolan not too far behind them. Troy is pulling away just a little bit. With 7 laps to go here. You know, if we get it, if this stays green the rest of the way and Troy pulls off this victory, what a run it would have been from him. Starting up front, setting the pole time, going to the back, having an incident with another car, and then getting the break there late and thundering by on the outside. What a drive he's had this last green flag run here.
And he also had a 15-second pit road penalty to come back from.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's huge. And to be able to bounce back from that, he's now got the lead. We've got Dylan Blankenship up to second now.
He's had a heck of a run, Dylan, tonight.
Yeah, Dylan started 7th, up to second now. You've got Dustin, he started 6th, and Jerry West started 8th. All 3 of those drivers in the top 4 now.
But that's the thing with this track. You don't need to start up front. You can work your way to the way up there from 17th, 18th back.
Now we saw Dylan there. He was a little patient.
Oh, he
smacks
hit the
wheel
wall.
Hard.
Oh, it hits Dustin German.
Hard into there.
Caution is out.
And there's a caution out with 6 to go. And that, my friends, changes everything. As I believe we're going to have another restart.
And I believe it's going to be probably it's going to be a 1-lap shootout.
Yeah, we'll either get 1 or 2 laps here, but man, I'll tell you who did not want to see that was Troy Radford.
Or he wouldn't have mind seeing it as long as it was on the next lap.
So the question here, with so few drivers, 16 laps on these tires, do you see guys come in? How far back do you see guys come in? Is it worth it?
I think if you're Ryan Nolan, Michael Thwaites, you come in. Because you're going to be able to, with those new tires, you might be able to make that last ditch effort and get a good pass on a restart, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, here's another thing about Pocono too, is the way the pace car drops off here. The green flag drops almost immediately, so the leader advantage that you would see at other tracks where the leader gets to start the race is minimized here, so the leader doesn't really have that much of an advantage. It's pretty easy to time the restart here, since the green flag does drop so soon after the pace car leaves the racing surface. So if you're in the lead, do you stay out knowing that advantage is a little bit minimized for you? Do you pit? Do you think you can hold on? We've got Troy staying out, it looks like, and Ryan Nolan. A lot of people faking and coming back out onto the track, it looks like.
I think
Troy stays out. Jerry West, Joshua Spalding, Dustin German, Ryan Nolan, Chris Mefford, Phil Otto, and Chris Legue all are going to stay out. Peyton Johnson, Michael Thwaites, Dylan Blankenship, Justin Napier, and Chad Meadows all going to pit.
Yeah, I think the only person that if they would have pitted it, it'd probably help them out. Would be Nolan, Dustin German. I think if they would have pit, that would have been an advantage for them. But
Yeah, I think we're gonna have 2 to go here to, on this last start. I believe so. We'll see, but like you said, I mean, I think if I were in that 5th or 6th position, I would have pitted. Because at that point, what have you got to lose? You can come in, you know, and only lose a spot or 2. Then not gonna hurt you too much.
some people in the chat are excited about Troy leading. They're hoping for some French fries in Victory Lane. Maybe Troy can get himself a Happy Meal.
Yeah, what a drive it would be if Troy can hang on for the win. I know he didn't want to see that caution, but he still got the top spot. What a race it's been for that 94, and what a race it's been for the 86. He's been kind of quiet, but he's up front now. In the 2nd spot. Started 8th. He's been fast, he's going to be looking to battle on the outside when they take this restart.
Even another one right now, Chris Medford. Started 18th. He's currently in 6th, and after that incident, he had to be up. He's still on the lead lap. He's pitted 8 times, and he's got himself up to 6th.
Yeah, he's definitely rebounded from that hard caution he took earlier in the race. Probably just looking for a solid finish now. And his car's not looking that bad, actually.
No, he took his time. He was able to get that sheet metal banged down and go from there.
I mean, I'm really thinking once this gets back and settled, ready to go, they're not doubled up yet, so we're going to come to 2 to green here, or 2 to go. So I think, like you said, it's going to be a 1-lap shootout. I just don't know that anybody else, without fresh tires, I don't know that if anybody else is going to be able to make a difference against these top 2 guys in the front row. You got to start in the front row. Unless there's a mistake that's made or contact. If one of these in the front row can get singled out pretty quickly, then it's going to be their race to lose, I believe.
I definitely agree. I honestly don't see any of the guys. I mean, everybody's tires are basically equal.
Yeah,
Joshua didn't take anything. I mean, how bad are his tires after he that save he had where he slid? He didn't take tires after that. So I mean,
yeah, Spalding's tires definitely after that slider they've got to be hurting. We don't have the first car with fresh tires is all the way back in 8th. So we'll see how efficient that can make them. But in 1 lap, I don't think you're going to be able to do enough to get the job done unless there's something that just catastrophically happens up front.
And this is going to be the $1 million restart right here.
Yeah, and what a way to end this race. Such an exciting race. Had a long green flag start to get this thing going. Had a hell of a last run there with Troy battling up to get himself back up front to control this restart. Now we've got a 1-lap shootout. Wrap it up, and this thing I'm sure is going to be wild.
I'm just going to be intrigued to see if we're going to get four abreast coming down, taking the green flag, then seeing everybody scramble to get back in line, and then coming for the checker, seeing if we can get 4, 5 cars wide coming for the checker flag.
Yeah, Troy's definitely going to have to make his car wide here on the start. You're going to have cars dropping down below and up high. I I mean, people are going to be going for any hole that's there, as long as they think they can make it through. They bunch them up here. Double wide. Troy leaves a little bit of a gap to the pace car. Pace car is going to pull off, and Troy's going to have started this start as the green flag drops. And we get going for one lap shootout, and there's a wreck. No, he saves it. I'm not sure what happened there, but Troy's out front. Joshua Spalding on the outside.
The 66 I saw got hit, and he was around.
Yeah, not sure what happened there in the back, but the number 9 of Joshua Spalding drops down low. They're side by side.
Spalding with the pass.
Spalding with the pass. Here's the last lap. Jerry West passes Troy. They're coming to the final turn.
Nolan look at the inside of Troy.
Yeah, Nolan also looking. And Joshua Spalding's got the 86 on the inside. Not sure he's going to make it.
Oh!
He's going to turn him. They both wreck. Troy Radford makes it by on the outside. And is going to win it. What a finish. The 86 turns the 9 coming off of turn 3. Ryan Nolan going to finish second. What a run. Troy Radford probably thought it was gone and then was handed back to him there. What a win for him. Sure if we can get a replay of that finish between the 9 and 86.
That's what I'm trying to do. It's just the 86 signed off, so it's making it hard for me to get at it.
Yeah, to me it looked like the 86 was just not going to lift their own exit. Clipped the left rear of Joshua Spalding. They both slid. Troy Radford had enough room on the outside to make it through. Your top 3, it looks like, are going to be Troy Radford, Ryan Nolan, and Chad Meadows in the 3 car. Joshua was able to get it straightened back out, ended up finishing 7th, it looked like. Jerry West, I believe, hit the wall hard after he spun down low.
All right. Well, let's talk to our 3rd place finisher, Chad Meadows.
User was moved to your channel.
Chad, Rick, and Steve in the booth. Do you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, that was an interesting finish to that race. Probably didn't think you were going to get a top 3 out of that.
No, that actually, the lap that caution came out, I was pitting for fuel, and then I clutched it basically until I got to pit, and I definitely didn't expect to get a top 3.
Well, how's it feel? I think is this your first top 5 with us?
This season, I think I got a top 5 in the K&N one time.
Yeah, I believe that might have been at Daytona.
Yeah, that, and I think a late model race I finished 2nd.
Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, you started at the last position of the race, and you finishing 3rd. I think what you gained 14 positions. That's a nice run.
Wow, I didn't know that's that many cars. Yeah, that's definitely nice to actually finish well for once. I've been wrecked so many times this season.
Yeah, well, you made it through that chaos there in the last corner. We're in the right spot at the right time. You led a couple laps out there. We were trying to figure out the strategy between all the cars. Was there a point at the race you were trying to stretch it maybe and go a little bit longer than everybody else, or?
Every run, I was trying to go a little bit further than everybody else. I was easy into the corners, easy on the gas, but that I wasn't paying attention when everybody was pitting, and then it said pits were closed. I was like, oh crap, I forgot.
Well, buddy,
Well, it seemed to have worked out a little bit there at the end with the top 3. able to avoid that chaos, like I said, and come home and bring the car home clean and have a good top 3 finish.
Yes, there was actually, I think the first green flag stops, I shifted down to third gear going to pits and I spun and hit the pit wall, but it wasn't badly damaged.
Well, definitely was an exciting night. Is there anybody you'd like to thank, say hi to?
Yeah, I want to thank Rad Racing and all my teammates and y'all for hosting these races. They're always fun.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the top 3 finish, and we'll see you next week.
Alrighty, thank you.
User was moved
That
out
was
of your
Chad
channel.
Meadows, your 3rd place finisher. Now let's talk to Ryan Nolan, your second place finisher. Excuse me.
User was moved to your channel.
Ryan, this is Rick and Steve in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, that was definitely an interesting finish. You got yourself you got shuffled to the back when Spalding got sideways, and then able to work your way back up and avoid that wreck at the finish. How does it feel to be able to pull off that second place finish tonight?
Well, I think I was the reason that Josh was sideways on that start. I felt bad, and I tried to lift for both of us there, and we both lost a lot of time. But so I was glad that he was able to get a shot at the front row again at the restart on the last run there. But yeah, I was happy to just get through that race fairly clean, and it's unfortunate that the 86 and the 9 got together at the end there, but it was a good race for us.
Yeah, we saw you that first run. Later on in the run, it seemed like your car, more so than the rest of the guys up front, had the long run speed. The middle part of the race, you were battling there with the 73, and then, like you said, you got caught up behind Josh and had to check up there, but you really battled back there at that late green flag run and were able to get in position to come back and finish second place. So that was a very strong finish there by you, and way to sort of persevere through that wreck.
Yeah, thanks. I think we had a good long run car. Unfortunately, at the end, we didn't have as many long runs as I'd hoped, but happy with it. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, and also my family for supporting our iRacing habits here. It was a good race.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch. A lot of close side by side battling and a lot of aggressive moves that were super entertaining to me, and I'm sure everybody else who caught it on the stream.
Yeah, it was. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Ryan, and we will see you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
User was moved out of your
That
channel.
was Ryan Nolan, your second place winner. And now we're going to bring in Troy Rafford, your winner tonight.
User was moved to your channel.
Troy, this is Rick and Steve in the booth. Do you got a copy?
I do, Rick. How are you guys doing today?
Well, I think you're doing a little better than us. Look, new paint scheme this week with the McDonald's, the red McDonald's, and you're able to pull out the victory, not get caught up in the fiasco there between the leaders, and get yourself the W. Get that monkey off your back.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. A little bit of good luck there at the end, but the way I look at it, I had the lead heading down to when that last caution came out, and I think I was pulling from them there, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I was about to say a little bit of good luck followed that bad luck he had when that caution fell. You had fought back to the front, had pulled out to a good lead after some mid-race adversity, and really that last run you seemed to be the dominant car fighting your way through the field, and like you said, the bad luck with the caution falling was just followed by the good luck, and you were able to keep it clean off that last turn and come away with the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there in the mid race, I got caught a little bit. Of course, if you pit early, then you can pit with one to go, and I didn't, so the pits were completely closed because nobody pitted. So I just made a stupid move and had to come in under green to serve the penalty. So I was very lucky to be able to get back up there.
Yeah, definitely able to rebound from it, and we were following you that whole last long green flag run, and it seemed like you were able to put the car anywhere on the track to make passes It was really entertaining to watch and a lot of side-by-side action. Tell us a little bit about the track and how the car sort of felt, because we were just up here watching, didn't really know what the car felt like or what it was feeling like for you guys.
You know, it actually felt pretty good out there. I mean, the sets are tight right now just because of the changes I are on the tighter side. But I mean, you're able to have some good side by side racing. I mean, had a couple of times side by side going into the tunnel turn there, which is of course one of the most uncomfortable turns in NASCAR. So, you know, we had some really good racing. I know we had a few cautions there at the end, but man, I felt comfortable with everybody out there.
Well,
Well,
a heck of a run, Troy. You battled back and you put on a heck of a show there on the last 20 or 30 laps to fight your way back up front. Major congrats on the win, and look forward to seeing you run again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steve, thanks for coming in and hanging out with Rick in the booth. Somebody's got to keep them straight, you know.
Yeah, my pleasure.
well, Troy, before we let you go, anybody you need to say hi to, want to recognize tonight?
Yeah, say hey to my dad. He's out there watching right now. Of course, my teammates over at GMR with actually Rick, Chris, Justin, Fluffy, just all of the guys out there. And of course, congrats again, Justin. I think had a career best fourth right now. So great, great, great run there for him. Oh, and Phil Otto. Can't forget Phil.
No, you can't forget Phil, and I think your dad was probably rooting for Medford and not you, but that's just a different story.
Well, yeah, of course.
All right, buddy. Well, congratulations on the W, getting that monkey off your back, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
User was moved out of your channel.
Well, that was Troy Rafford, your race winner. Definitely a interesting night with good long green flag run at the beginning, and then some cautions at the end, and then we had that wreck between the first and second place cars there. So Pocono was definitely exciting tonight. So Steve, any last words before we sign off?
Yeah, just thanks for letting me come to the booth. It was a heck of a race to watch and to call with you. We had a lot of good side by side racing, and looking forward to calling the next one.
That in fact, let's see. Tomorrow night, the trucks are at Dover tomorrow night, and you can catch that on the OSR network. Joe White will be here calling that. Wednesday night, the late models are at Langley, and Thursday night, the Street Stock Dirt Series, they're going to be at Lanier's Dirt Track, and let's see, Sunday the Indy cars, they're going to be at Mid Ohio. And then next week, the K&N Series is going to be at Watkins Glen on the road course. So that's definitely going to be an interesting race. So that's what we got coming up here at Racing for a Cause. So until next week, I'm Rick Greenaway. Oh, Steve Baker. Have a good night.